Welcome back, everybody. It's another episode of The Human Side of Marketing. I'm Chris Angel, your co-host, here with your host, Kurt Stockwell. Kurt, welcome to your own show.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
you're welcome. Be here.
Yes, we are picking up sort of where we left off, because last time we kind of teased out in this episode, we'd be talking about how we're all bakers. We're all baking stuff. So
right.
Let's dive into that. Set this up for me. Give me a quote or give me something that would sort of set the tone for this conversation.
So kind of the title I think we landed on was care before they're your customer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talk about taking care of your customer, which is good. You should. Yeah. And a lot of books and podcasts and articles and whatever, and people speaking about taking care of your customer. But right. I think to get above the noise in this marketplace is when people see that you care before they're actually your customer, you're going to really stand out in this noisy marketplace. And there's different ways to do that.
That is the epitome of the human side of marketing. Like marketing a lot of times is about how do we acquire new customers.
Right.
And when you can demonstrate, when people get that you care in the act of marketing, it does stand above the noise for sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. I mean, one of the reasons why I do this show is it's a marketing tool. I'm not going to lie about that, but I hope to connect with people that I will actually do business with. Yeah. But if you watch this show and you gain knowledge and you go use these tips and tricks and whatnot in your own marketing, and we actually never connect on a business to customer level, I'm totally cool with that.
Right.
I just want people to be able to use this as they need it. And if you hire us, we would be thrilled to work for you. But at the end of the day, it's one of those utility pieces that we always talk about. So we talk about relationship utility and ROI. Well, what kind of utility can I bring to the marketplace and maybe not even expect a measurable return? In the last episode, you talked about Gary Vaynerchuk that says, and how does that quote go again about?
Do stuff that's not scalable.
Yeah,
do what it says.
Yeah, do stuff that's not scalable. So don't get so caught up in the metrics of what you're doing. When you provide utility and when you provide value in the marketplace, you're going to stand out. Yeah. And I think that comes from a mindset. So first off, I'd like to talk about mindset. There's a quote by Pete Carroll, the coach of the Seahawks. We're up here in Seahawks country. Yeah. Hear about Pete Carroll a lot.
You're a Broncos guy, though.
I'm a Broncos fan, exactly. But I'm up here in Seahawks country. That's okay.
That's good. So you can quote Pete. We'll let you quote Pete Carroll since you live up here.
Right, exactly. So Pete Carroll was asked about the secret to his success, and he said, "I was blessed to find success at an early age, and it taught me that it wasn't fulfilling. But I figured out that real fulfillment comes through helping others succeed. I found my purpose." And I think if that's your mindset as a business owner providing a product or a solution or a widget or whatever, that at the end of the day, you're helping somebody else succeed in their story, in their narrative. Your product or your service is helping them succeed. It kind of humbles yourself, kind of brings a level of humility to go, okay, why do I care so much about likes? Or why do I care so much about clicks? Or why do I care so much about my ranking in SEO if I've forgotten that at the end of the day, I want to help others succeed? I think when you have that mindset, you definitely, you just start to stand out in this marketplace because it's so noisy with people just wanting from you. And when you have a mentality of giving, it's going to come back.
I think, first of all, I so agree with that. And the flip side of that, because I'm in business and I'm also present to sometimes that could be a hard place to get to. We're all pushing, grinding. We want to get to the next level of our business. And so we've got these things that we know we need to tackle. Like we got to build a website. It's got to be SEO friendly. And I've got to run some Facebook ads. And I got to there's all these to-do lists. And we're trying to measure constantly, how many likes did it get? And how are my impressions? And we start to, I think in the panic, can I even use that word? In the panic of it all, start to lose sight of the the helping,
Yeah,
the
right.
caring for.
Right. I like to say that your goal should always be, I care and I have a solution.
Mm.
I care about your problem and I have a solution.
Mm.
And that's really the start of the entire process that we take a client through in the 7-part framework of creating your story or creating the narrative or the copy for your website or all your marketing is one, who's your customer, and keeping in mind that they are the hero and they have a problem. And then you're coming in as a guide. You're coming in as one that brings a solution to their problem. So
Yeah.
now the initial connection that you have with this potential customer, that's kind of the next step. So once you're out in the marketplace and people start to see you as somebody who maybe thinks a little bit different, maybe I like their approach to what they're doing, and I don't even really know why. I want to learn more about them. So maybe they reach out through your website or through a phone call or through different opportunity, maybe a networking event. You get an opportunity to sit down and actually make a connection with this potential customer. That's the next step. So it starts with mindset, and then you have to have a plan for your initial connection. And this is where the whole baker concept comes in. So we're all bakers, right? And what I mean by that is if you think about this initial connection with your customer as baking a loaf of bread. Baking a loaf of bread, you need a pinch of salt and a whole bunch of flour. And the pinch of salt is your authority. And the cups of flour is your empathy. Now, when you were talking about grinding and panic, when we grind and panic, we kind of naturally fall back to what we know. And what we know is ourselves. And we start to talk too much about our authority that we have the authority that we feel like we need to kind of display and kind of pump ourselves up when we're having a conversation with a potential customer. And we just start vomiting out all of the reasons why you're the greatest, or I'm talking to you and I'm telling you about all these reasons why I'm the greatest web developer, and we've got all these great tools, and we can do it, faster than anybody else and more efficient than anybody else, and we've got these different metrics that we work with, and we've got all these different accolades and certificates and whatnot, and it starts to become overwhelming because the customer inevitably is going to go, man, it doesn't really sound like they're listening to me. It sounds like they're just talking to me.
I like how you say it, because I've sort of always thought of it like people are going to sell themselves because that's how we've been taught. But I do think there's an element of sometimes we'll fall back on trying to sell ourselves and assert authority simply because there's the panicky piece. There's like I don't know what to do to convince. So I'm going to try to be a more assertive or more authoritarian about how good I am at something.
Right. Those awkward pauses or those lulls in a conversation, most people get really freaked out when things start to get quiet. So they want to just jump in and start continuing to talk. Actually, in episode 7 of this, of the human side of marketing, we talk about how to be the hero, or how to be the guide in a sales call and not the hero, or how to be the guide in a one-on-one conversation with a potential customer and not the hero. And it has a lot to do with listening and how to plan to listen. And that sounds kind of weird, but really, I think a lot of us have to discipline ourselves to listen.
Yeah. So good. So let's say that we have scooped up a bunch of empathy, a bunch of flour. We've got a little bit of authority, but we've got a whole bunch of empathy. Now we've brought that into whether it's our sales conversations or our website copy. And we are now sort of being the guide. When we get interest, we now have people interested in what we do. I think there's a piece of follow-up to this. Like people are interested.
Yeah, that's the last piece really is follow-up. How many times have you heard people say, well, I decided to work with this company because they're the only ones that actually got back to me?
Right. All the time. Yeah.
I mean, that is like the easiest. That's the best when you're like, I got this customer because I was the only one that called them.
Right. I'm the only one that answered my phone.
When they filled out the form on the website, I was the only one. They filled out 6 website forms, and I was the only one that actually called them back.
Right.
And that's happened to us before. And so the follow-up piece of it, or even you're at a networking event, or you have an opportunity to talk to somebody, and you get their card, you have a great conversation. You're thinking, man, this would be a great person to work with. And we're all human. We're all busy. We're all stretched thin many times, and you forget to call them back.
Mm.
And
Sure.
then
Right.
you see that person maybe like 6 months from, from your initial meeting and go, oh my gosh,
Mm.
there's that guy. I never called him back. I'm such an idiot. We've all done it.
Been there. Yep.
So you need to have a plan for how to follow up and how to stay connected with these potential customers, because you'll stand out in that way too. A tool that we use is called One Page CRM.
Mm-hmm.
And a CRM is a customer relationship management tool.
Yeah.
We like One Page CRM because it's really simple.
Mm.
And I know there's a lot of other CRMs out there that people have used that are really clunky and awkward and almost so bloated. It's hard to actually use it as a follow-up tool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot out there. We should do, I think there's a lot of places where people can drown in tools.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many tools. We
Yeah.
should do an episode sometime down the road on, Walrus approved, tools, something like that,
Yeah.
where
There's a lot of really great things out there online that help you kind of keep yourself organized. Yeah. There's
right.
many more tools than just an Excel spreadsheet that has all of your, there's people listening probably going, oh, I've used an Excel spreadsheet for the last 25 years and it's clunky and awkward. Yeah. One thing that we like about One Page CRM is it's all based around the philosophy of just there's one next step. Right. What's the one next step to connect with this person? Mm-hmm. And there's not 15 different ways to connect with them. There's one next step. For us, cool. It's simple enough to use and use it as an internal utility to keep connected with people.
I like, when we think about the name of this episode, care before they're your customer, or caring for your customers before they become your customers. Like a lot of times the follow-up demonstrates that care. And if you don't follow up, sometimes you can lose that connection and that care, and or how you follow up can demonstrate the care. So having a CRM is really important because it's hard to keep all that in your head.
And one little additional nugget that I think people will like is we have a thing called a takeaway letter. So if you're in our CRM, we're going to follow up with you 3 or 4 times, reach out with a phone call or an email. And after 3 or 4 times, we will send what's called a takeaway letter. And the takeaway letter is usually an email that says, hey, there's a fine line between being persistent and annoying, and we never want to be annoying. So obviously your efforts are being spent elsewhere and you're no longer interested in our services, and that's totally okay. We wish you well, and you won't hear from us again. We send that off. And I can't tell you how many times we've had people go, no, I'm still interested. I'm just super busy. And they actually really appreciate that takeaway letter because we're being empathetic and saying, hey, it's not a big deal. You've never called us back, even though we've left you 5 messages. You've never emailed us back, even though we've sent you, 5 emails. It's okay. We understand, but we just don't want to be annoying. And it's amazing how well that works.
Wow. That's really good.
Yeah.
Well, I think I like that it comes from a place of like, I think sometimes people in the follow-up sort of dance around like, oh, you're pursuing me. I don't have time right now. And nobody ever addresses the elephant in the room. Like, do you want to, or do you not want to? Like, just pick, choose. Don't live in maybe. Get out of the gray space and just pick. Yeah. So I love that your letter allows them to actually get off the fence and decide what do you really want to do and address the elephant in the room.
Yeah. And, there's other people who've sent us an email. The one response that we've gotten was, oh yeah, hey, thanks. We did something else, but appreciate all your follow-up. Because that actually gives them a way, because maybe on their end, they're going, oh man, I'm such a jerk. I've never gotten back to these guys, and we went a different direction, but they were really nice guys and I just feel bad. So I'm just going to ignore them and hopefully I never see them again. Right. But that takeaway letter allows them to go, yeah, you know what? We went another direction and so it's cool with us and wish you well.
I love it. Well, these are really good points of caring for your customer before they become your customer. First in your mindset, knowing that, like caring about them, helping others is sort of the spirit of the marketing. And then how you make that initial connection through empathy, followed up by follow-up. which is
Yes.
how do you nurture that relationship until there's a decision made? So any last minute wisdom, Kurt, for people in the sense of caring for their customers before they become their customers?
Yeah. Write good content.
Yes. Write good content. Like do you mean like clear content?
Yeah. When you have clarity, your customers will listen. And I was just speaking at an event a couple days ago, and I told this room of businesses, I'm like, most businesses, the last thing that they think about in their marketing is actually the words, but words are the things that sell. It's not your photos. It's not your portfolio. At the end of the day, it's the words either that you're saying out of your mouth or the words that are in your copy that go, oh, they recognize me and they have empathy for me. And I can see that they have the authority to say what they're saying. So don't forget about the words that you use in your marketing. It's the most important thing.
Yeah. So if people want help with their words, they want help clarifying their words, what's a good place to connect with you about that?
Yeah, you can go to clarifymywebsite.com and connect with me there. Also, if you're in the Spokane area, we are having a workshop. So if you go to clarifymymarketing.com, you could sign up for our workshop, which is happening at the end of October.
Perfect. That's awesome. So good. I love it. Clarifymywebsite.com and then clarifymymarketing.com. That's some incredible, great resources. Kurt, thank you. Thanks for a great episode. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris.